This week on the O The Anthem podcast, in sports ball, baseball is back. It feels like it's been too long. It's like an old friend coming home. We're going to talk about the Astros in preseason, the Orioles in preseason, all of your preseason baseball. Also, Cory made a trip to Las Vegas and saw the Caps play. He'll recount that for us. And for your consideration, Harvey is guilty. Ooh, we're going to have a lot of discussion about that. And, of course, the dumb debate is coming up tomorrow. We'll talk about the last debate, the next debate, and everything coming up. South Carolina Super Tuesday, and a little bit of Baltimore news in the Baltimore Corner. You're going to want to stick around and check it out. So all that and more coming up on this week's episode of the O The Anthem podcast.
First one to slam Mike Bloomberg wins the podcast. This is Cory, and this is the O The Anthem podcast.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to episode 307 of the O The Anthem podcast, coming to you from the hashtag OTA LA studios, high above the 110 freeway in downtown Los Angeles. Thank you for joining us. And I'd like to say right at the top,
yes,
an RIP to Mad Mike Hughes.
Now, who is Mad Mike Hughes?
Yeah, I was surprised you didn't know who this guy is. There's a fantastic documentary on HBO about him. He is a flat earther who used to be a stuntman and therefore is 100% qualified to start his own space agency, build rockets, and prove that the Earth is flat.
Yeah.
So his big plan was to go up to the edge of the atmosphere, snap a couple pictures of the nice flat Earth that he saw from up there.
Right.
Which, yeah.
It would clearly look flat from that vantage point, too.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, no matter how far you go up, you're going to see the whole thing. It's a big disc on the back of a turtle or something. I don't know. But Mad Mike.
I mean, it's curved. I'm not an idiot. I mean, there's a little bit of curve, but it's flat at the other side. I mean, like.
There's a bunch of mammoths holding it up from underneath. But Mad Mike, unfortunately, lost his life in his adventure to see the curvature of the Earth, or the lack thereof. I believe it was on Saturday, actually. I just saw the update on the story. Held a rocket launch in the desert near his home, and the safety precautions that he took, the parachutes and whatnot, failed, and he ended up losing his life. So here we go once again, brave men losing their lives in the pursuit of science. Science.
Quote-unquote science.
Kind of like science, I guess. But we can't dwell too long because, you know what? Our favorite time of year is back again. It's baseball season. Well, not really exactly baseball, but the first beginnings of baseball, I suppose you could say, right?
If nothing else, it is for sure sports ball season.
It definitely is sports ball season. Yeah.
Yeah, I have watched 3 spring training Oriole games so far. And by watched, I mean have had on while doing other things and like periodically looking up. I found that the MLB at Bat app gives you notifications before the MLB TV app shows it to you. So there's a time delay on the MLB TV app. And so I was like sitting at the desk, and then all of a sudden I got a notification that says like Anthony Santander singles in a run, and I just like look up and I'm just like, there's no score. And then seconds later,
yeah. Well, and I would say,
which is kind of nice for spring training because then you can like it gives you a little half warning of like something's about to happen, so you can go check it out. But
and don't get down on this team yet. This team came back from 6 runs down to tie it up just a few moments ago, apparently.
Our furniture movers did better than their furniture movers.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess what's nice is that, like, you get to see prospects that you know you're not going to see for a while in spring training games like this. Like, Adley Rutschman has had a couple at-bats. That's really nice, but
he's going back down to the minors.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's obviously not ready for the majors yet, so he's going to go back and, I don't know, learn how to lift cars off babies or something like that. What kind of thing would they do for strength in the Orioles organization?
I mean, well, basically watch the movie Major League, and then you'll have insight to what it must be like for spring training. For
Adley Rutschman going around like bats for hats, hats for bats.
Just I don't know. Wait, who were they stripping off though in the locker room? If it's Major League.
John Angelos.
I mean, maybe, yeah. That wouldn't be so bad, I guess.
Or maybe it's put clothes on.
Oh yes, it starts out naked. Every win, we're slapping. Some
Every
clothes on
win,
us.
we put another piece of clothing on John Angelos. Peter Angelos.
Yeah.
John's the kid. I'm sorry.
John's the owner now, I guess, right? Like the.
Well, I mean, like John's sort of
de
like
facto.
the face right now. So
Yeah.
I mean, Peter was never really the face. Like Peter would just let out Angelos law firm stationery with his thoughts on the team.
And I don't know which one's more inspiring. I think Peter. Put the clothes back on, Peter. That's who we really want to see. Nobody wants to see that. But yeah, so you get to watch baseball. That's fun. I
like the idea of the prospect of a naked lady in the early '90s was enough to like drive these guys crazy. Like,
by the way, not naked. She clearly had a bathing suit on underneath it.
You know, like it was like pasties and a whatever made it acceptable to be shown in theaters.
Yes,
because I imagine if she was actually naked, it would have been an R.
Oh, hard
then,
R. Yeah. They
They didn't want to fight that.
Also, not necessarily the most attractive woman. I don't know if that's the one. Like Kathy Ireland was popular around then. Like maybe toss her up there. No Bitsy owner, who's kind of cute.
We're putting Jake's wife up there. What?
Everybody else has seen her naked. You might as well. Oh, sorry. Was that a spoiler for Major League?
Come on, Jake. Take one for the team.
But speaking of taking one for the team, the Astros on the apology tour right now. And I got to say, as genuine as I would expect the Astros to be on an apology tour.
Except not at all. This is... So, a little bit of backstory. There was a pitcher who pitched for the Toronto Blue Jays in 2017 named Mike Balsinger. And he's suing the Astros because he was a journeyman pitcher, but he had finally made it back to a major league team. He had overcome injuries and stuff like that, and he's finally back on a major league roster. And then he has to go up against the Houston Astros at Minute Maid Park, where they're using the sign stealing method and banging on the trash can. Mm-hmm. And you know because you can watch the highlights of his pitching and hear the banging of the trash can. And he lasted 1/3 of an inning. He gave up something like 7 runs, and then he was cut immediately after the game and never to be seen in the majors again.
Yep.
And there's a pretty clear delineation of you pitched so poorly in this one chance we gave you that we're not going to let you be on this roster anymore.
We'll eat whatever cost that was.
Well, I mean, like, it's not like he was getting Ubaldo money. It's not like you had to worry about, like, wow, if we cut him, it's going to cost us $30 million or so, whatever.
Not Chris Davis money.
Yeah. But this lawsuit is out there, and basically, if Jim Crane or any of the Astros directly admit to cheating and using the system, then it's going to be a pretty easy lawsuit.
Yes.
To lose. And for whatever reason, the $5 million that they're going to give up in this lawsuit, is so much more important than just going out there and like not putting the noose around your neck for the rest of the season, because the rest of baseball is not happy at all with how the Astros are handling this whole thing, from Jim Crane not apologizing at all whatsoever to the players getting so defensive like immediately at any possible mention of them cheating.
Well, that's not fair. Listen, everyone apologized, and we said it once already. Do we have to keep going over and over it, okay? The team said, we're sorry for any, unpleasantness that may have happened when you played us. That's basically a full apology for a cheating scandal that rocked baseball and led to a World Series.
We're sorry you think that we did something that we did not imply to do.
And if we had done it, we would be very sorry that we did it, had we, in fact, done it.
In fact, right now, what we're sorry for is that we got caught for the thing that we're not doing.
Which is kind of what it seems like. It seems like every apology I hear is just them apologizing for getting caught doing it.
And here's the problem. If you find yourself in the middle of like a media firestorm and people are looking to you to apologize, your best hope is to come out and admit everything and apologize and move on. Because as soon as it's all out there, you don't have to worry about it anymore. You probably have to deal with a couple days worth of people going like, well, that's real shitty. But then eventually it subsides. But if you lie about something in your apology, or you don't give the full truth, or you don't give a proper apology, then you're just opening yourself up for people asking you the same question over and over and over again, which is what the Astros are getting.
And I believe we gave the same advice to a bunch of criminals over the last year. Like,
Yeah.
just come out and say it. The Me Too, everything about Me Too is like, listen, you're going to get caught. Come out, admit it, apologize, and the story will be over in a cycle. But instead, you lie, and then it just lasts and lasts and lasts.
Well, I think the problem is that there's a delineation. The problem with a Me Too situation is that what do you apologize for specifically? I guess if you had like one incident where it was like one of those situations where you didn't have
Sorry, I blew your train of thought.
No. It's just like if it was one of those situations where it's like I said something inappropriate when I was drunk to some girl once, then yeah, I could see I'm going to apologize for everything right up front. I don't think it would have worked for Harvey, is what I'm
Oh
saying.
no, that train's gonna keep rolling.
Some people like it just doesn't. Getting in front and admitting everything is not going to be your path to salvation. And especially for someone like Harvey, who that could have come up in legal arguments. But I mean, like for the Astros, it's not the same as like. Harvey's going to be, we'll get to him later, but it's like 5 to 25 years, like right now as constituted.
$5 million though.
If how much could this guy possibly require in some sort of like judgment?
And that's
like
the hard
how
part.
much did winning the World Series win you? Like, I mean, like at the end of the day, like, Wells Fargo just settled with the federal government for creating the fake accounts and the extra mortgages and blah, 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 blah. And, it was a huge fine, and I'm sure like a normal person goes like, wow, $700 billion. That's really...
Seems like a lot.
But like, if they made $1 trillion doing it and they only had to pay a fine of $700 billion, then it doesn't make sense. Like, and I think that's the problem with most of the... I mean, the problem with the Astros scandal in a nutshell is that Major League Baseball wanted the input of the players to be able to figure out what happened, and by doing that, they had to give them immunity essentially from being suspended.
Yeah.
And now nobody's suspended. They didn't take away the World Series, which they couldn't probably do anyway. They might be able to take back the trophy by itself, but what does that do if, they still have like a banner up in the in the stadium saying World Series champion?
No asterisk on the record book.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, like, the only thing that they could really do at this point is like, work with the Players Association to like censure the players, but like even that is kind of like a sort of like meaningless task. Like I don't get what
it all comes down to money, and you have made far more from this game than you will ever give up.
Yeah,
really, realistically, and by the way, you're costing yourself more money now with this nonsensical non-apology thing because people are just like, you know what, I was okay with him cheating, but this whole bullshit about like, we're not going to apologize for it? Come on.
I mean, and you're just making people, like, you're winding people up for a season of trouble. Like, you're just going to... Imagine if Altuve starts like 0 for 10 or something like that. And the normal, like, razzing you get from visiting fans is now like, you're like, oh, you need a fucking trash can, asshole? Like, as you're walking off the field, 500 times a season.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
It's not the same thing as like, which is why I kind of at the time when we talked about this, where I thought it would be a good idea for them not to be suspended because it's almost worse for them to have to deal with it than be home.
I mean, listen, you can't have mini bat night at the ballpark. Because as soon as one of them steps up to the plate, everyone in the place is just banging on trash cans all over.
I bet you there's going to be an all-time number of trash can nights in Major and Minor League Baseball for this season. Just letting you know. Just giving you a heads up. It'll be Orioles trash can night conveniently when the Astros show up.
Funny.
And like, other things I'm hearing about, like Dodger fans are planning on showing up for the first Astros game in Anaheim.
Yeah. Because
the Astros aren't coming to LA this season. So they're going to
go
to the Angels game and buy a ticket just to boo the Astros.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
I guess they'll root for the Angels too. It's just like, while we're here, we might as well, I guess. But
more importantly, I'm booing the Astros.
I've never been so I need to go to fucking Philadelphia and boo the Pirates.
Well, Pittsburgh.
Well, yeah, I know, but I'm saying
oh, when they go to Philadelphia?
Yeah,
I guess, yeah.
Because that would be or DC,
I get
go
DC,
to the closest stadium, go to the closest National League park so I can boo them.
Yeah, I've never been that worked up about it. But again, I wouldn't mind if people go boo them. So
yeah, I'm fine with
make them feel bad about it.
It'll be something to watch all season long. I think even though this is not a great scandal for Major League Baseball, I think that it's setting up for an interesting season at the very least. So which is always wonderful.
And for the league, they just want people to watch. So
Yeah.
we're about to give them that. But shifting gears to a sport that apparently has been going on for half a season already. Cory went to see a NHL game this week.
Indeed.
And I think you said on the last episode that you were too busy playing NHL 20 to go see your team as they came west.
Yeah, when they were in LA or Anaheim, I missed them because I was playing the video game.
Yeah, and then you went there and you were hoping that they would break this streak of losses because they actually won games when they came to LA and Anaheim. How'd that go?
Well, it seems like they came down with the Vegas flu, as most teams do. You know, I'll say this: I don't want to like talk a whole bunch about the game because I don't know how much hockey fans listen to our podcast. But
no one cares.
I will say this quickly that I love going to Vegas, and what I love so much about it is that the fans are just the best people because they were such a pariah as like a sports franchise location for so long because of the gambling.
Yeah.
And finally, like sort of the way society has changed its view on gambling has now allowed Vegas to become a sports team. A sports town with teams, and I'm just so happy for them, and they're so happy to be there.
Yeah.
And they're all so nice, and I was talking to this guy the whole time during the game, and we were like razzing each other about like, you know, little bits and pieces, but you know, he's like, hey, I ordered too much pizza, do you want a slice? And like there was like a little kid who like came in, and he's just like, as I was like walking into the stadium, I was like, I hope Ovi gets 700 tonight because it would be history.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, where the fuck are you from? Like, little kid central casting walking up and just being like, you look nice today, mister. Like,
thank you.
Like little cute, you know, like it's just wonderful. And all the things about, you know, Vegas being this place of like sin and depravity and stuff. Like it's not.
Which,
like
by the way,
that.
it is.
It's never,
it is still that. Absolutely.
I mean, you can get it if you want it, but I mean, like
you scared a small woman who was dealing blackjack by screaming obscenities in her face while drunk at 4:00 in the afternoon. Well, by drinking at 4:00 in the afternoon.
It was. She's had worse, I'm sure.
But it makes me excited to go to a Ravens game in Oakland. Your experience there so far at T-Mobile. I mean, obviously it's going to be different because it's Raiders fans. But
I was talking to a couple people about the Raiders coming in, and they apparently Vegas is trying to make a clean break from the Raider fans of old. Like they have not like worked out any kind of ticket deal for the black hole.
Right.
So all these people who were literally planning on driving down from Oakland to be drunk and disorderly in public are like sort of on the outside right now, which I don't know how I feel about particularly, but it seems like they're trying to make a culture shift between where they were as an organization and where they want to be going forward.
Listen, Oakland fans, I can tell you from experience, you get like a little community at home where you're just a fan of the team, but not at the home city of the team.
Yeah.
You fall in with them and you hope they don't go to a pretentious bar that you don't want to go to that's all the way across town.
Yeah.
And if not, you find your own bar and just watch football. It's really not that difficult. Listen, no one's going to hate if you go into an Oakland bar wearing your, skeleton mask and your shoulder pads. They'll be fine.
Yeah. Just keep that shit in Oakland.
Yeah. Nobody wants to go there. But you mentioned Ovi's 700 goal.
Yes.
Which he didn't get.
He didn't get in Vegas, but he did. There was a lot of people going like, well, maybe the Golden Knights will win 3-2 and Ovi will have 2 goals and we can all enjoy ourselves. And I'm just like, or we could win, but that didn't happen. But Oshie had 2 goals that game, so that ruined that plan. But Ovi has since passed 700 goals, the 8th player in NHL history to do it. Nothing else other than to say that that's a very incredible number to reach as far as goals in a season and or in a career. And Gretzky is at 890 right now, and there's a chance that Ovi, if he keeps up the way he's been, could possibly eclipse Gretzky at some point, which was almost unbelievable impossible to think of when Gretzky retired.
And I say Gretzky's number 1 overall all time. Right?
Yeah, I mean, like the thing is that it's not just about Gretzky being number 1 on
every
particular list. Yeah. It's him being on every single list. Yeah. Like he not only leads in goals, but he leads in assists. Like that, that's unusual. Be like if you were in charge of, you've made the most cars for Ford and you've also sold the most cars for Ford.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
like two different skill sets are required for that kind of like achievement, you know?
Well, I asked to say there are other people in between him and Gretzky at this point where
Yeah.
he's going to have to pass them.
Right. But I mean, like, I think the benefit is that Ovi is 34 at this point. So he still has hopefully a couple years where he's going to catch up to people who are, you know, like Jaromir Jagr, who didn't retire till he was 47 or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to catch Jagr way before
On pace,
on the
above
pace
pace.
wise,
Yeah.
way before. So, it'll be interesting to see. I'm really excited about it and proud for the accomplishment. And it turns out that he's going to be a father again too. So he's got a lot of things going for him right now.
Ovi, leave some testosterone for the rest of us. All right. I mean, Jesus.
They're you know, like I normally I'll say this. I usually don't like it when people post like videos of their kids like going into like toy boxes and being like, mine? I'm just like, I watch those things and I'm like, shut up, I don't got time for your kid. And I just keep skipping through on Instagram. But then I'll stop on like baby Ovi, like junior Ovi Junior, like where he's just like pulling out like toys and will be like, my stick. Or it's just like he'll watch the TV and he'll see his dad like on the NHL broadcast. So I'll be like, Dad. It's just like, oh, you little thing, I love you.
Little bit of favoritism. That's okay though, I guess. But yeah, so we'll keep an eye on the NHL season, which is apparently almost over. And as we've said before,
Still has plenty of time left in it.
you play 88 games to eliminate 2 teams going into the playoffs, so it'll be a fun playoff time too. But that will be it for Sports Ball today. And of course, we have to push through because, oh boy, we have a lot to talk about.
Yes.
So for your consideration, let me grab the splash for that.
It's gonna have to wait a little while because part of the brain trust of making that is in Mexico at the moment.
Yeah. Hey, enough vacation. Get a job, slacker. You know who you are.
For your consideration, the man who made For Your Consideration famous, Harvey Weinstein, found guilty on 2 charges in New York.
Not the most serious charge, but
no,
2
but
of the upper level charges.
Yeah. One of them, you know, these are all like based off of best knowledge of sentencing guidelines and stuff like that. But the one charge carried from anywhere from 5 to 25 years. The other one only a maximum of 4 years and no set minimum. But that one also required you to go on the sexual registry.
Yes.
Sexual predator registry. So
fingers crossed.
I imagine there's no way he avoids the registry, which is not. There's a lot of people I know who would rather do jail time as opposed to registry time. Like,
yeah, because that's the rest of your life. That's,
that really fucks you up.
Every neighborhood you move into, you got to go around with the poster or whatever. And this is me.
I'm sure Harvey is not. The part Harvey's looking forward to the least is walking around door to door and just being like, "Hey, just letting you know I'm on the sexual registry."
Yeah.
So like, aren't you Harvey Weinstein? I know this.
Yeah.
I know this about you.
I had to do it.
I guess the good news about today is you can take the word alleged out of sexual misconduct with Harvey.
Yeah.
Like you can officially today without worrying about the ire of the Weinstein litigation department.
Yes. And to be clear, by that he means the Harvey Weinstein litigation department, because clearly the wonderful Weinstein Company, which continues on making films and might, want to fund one of the films one day.
They're gone.
I know it's something else now, but you know what I mean.
They got bought out. Yeah.
It's the same people. A lot of the same people at the top.
I think Bob's at home right now.
Did he retire? I thought part of the deal was they got him. It was like, yeah, we're buying out Weinstein. It's not Weinstein anymore, but it's like 98% Weinstein Company. And that 2% was
I think they were
Harvey.
just buying the catalog.
Oh, maybe.
I thought that was it. I thought it was just a catalog deal, and they were gonna like let everyone go. And
who bought Miramax?
Disney.
Oh, God damn it!
But
that should always just be the first guess. It may not be accurate, but I can see them doing it. Yeah.
Who bought AT&T? Disney.
Yeah, I mean, I can see
sure,
that.
whatever.
Yeah,
I guess
cash considerations.
Maybe I missed it. No, I think that what is interesting today is that I think I heard a number that like 5% of any sexual misconduct suits that are brought to criminal court are successful. like
Well,
lending a guilty verdict,
if
right?
you take Baltimore out of the equation, though, that rises up to like 11 or 12%. So, because he can't convict anybody for anything in Baltimore.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's I don't think there's enough cases there to throw off the number by that. It was something like 7%, I think.
Yeah.
Was what I heard nationally is like the chances of a guilty plea in a sexual harassment or
guilty finding.
guilty
not plea.
finding.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so Harvey is part of that 7%.
Yay. And of course, immediately, his lawyer came out and defended him and said that despite the verdict, Harvey took it like a man. And I don't know if that strikes exactly the right tone that you want to be striking at that time. But
I mean, like, I feel like everything that the attorney was trying to do for Harvey at this point was play it as close to the line as possible.
Yeah.
So that you could set up for an appeal and so that maybe, I mean, because there was a lot of people predicting that there was going to be a hung jury at the end of this all, especially when it was going past the weekend.
Yeah.
And it seemed like it was hung on Friday when they did the 3:00 sort of like let's check
How you
in
guys
on the
doing?
jury.
Yeah, what's going on in here?
But they got the 2 counts and
also they asked for testimony to be replayed for them, which, by the way, as an attorney is never a good sign. Like, because if you're the prosecuting attorney, you're hoping they're in there saying, like, that story really didn't make sense. And so they bring back the testimony because they want to see if it was what everybody remembered it was. Or if you're the defense, you're thinking, like, oh, shit. What they want is to make sure that they are set on. But typically that skews towards the defense. That somebody has mixed up something in their testimony, and one guy on the jury is like, listen, I can't convict because she said this, but she knew she was actually somewhere else.
Right.
It literally is just a misstatement, but it doesn't matter.
It's amazing what goes through the mind of a jury when they're in that position. But California still has a crack at them too, which I find interesting. I wonder if they go forward with it depending on how the sentencing goes.
As I was saying, that was my question.
And I will say this. I'm glad that Harvey is getting time. I'm glad that it looks like it's going to be a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
Because it feels like it's sort of a makeup call for the way he's generally lived his life. Mm-hmm. But 2 things about this really bother me above anything else. And I think one is that he is older at this point, and he's basically lived a good life up until this moment, and he just dies in disgrace. Like, and the same sort of thing with Cosby, where it's just like you're catching somebody so late. And I know that there's like differences between how many different people have to be talking about the horrible thing that you do, where it raises to the level where it's sort of like an open secret, and then you being able to bring somebody down and blah, 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 blah. And they wouldn't do the same thing for somebody who was a lesser scale sexual harasser or something like that.
I mean, listen, if they look at your tweets, they're not going to give you 5 to 25, maybe a weekend or 2, but nothing that serious.
Solid slap on the wrist.
Time Hop is horrible for that. Just like, oh, God, what did I say?
Especially when Twitter, I feel like we should get some sort of reprieve from the government, because we were on Twitter when it first started, and it was just nobody knew what to do. It was a madhouse.
Yeah, listen, I have a really offensive tweet, which I apologize for, but if you notice, the next tweet was me saying, hey, what am I going to eat for breakfast? Pancakes, question mark? And then engaging with people who responded to that. So we don't know what it is.
I have no idea the context of this.
I was 22. No. I was really dumb.
No, but so part of it is I'm bothered by the fact that Harvey's so old at this point that it's not like he is paying for the punishment. Like, he still lived a life where he was living in mansions and going to parties with movie stars and, all the things that go with being the king of Hollywood for a period of time,
Yeah. I got to say, though, I think that, he was actually taken to the hospital right after the verdict was read, which was a big surprise, But
maybe that walker ain't fake.
Maybe not. But it is. I think part of that is no matter what he gets, it's likely a life sentence, because I don't think he's going to survive past it. And there is something about, no matter how good your life was, that in that time when you would most want to be at home, most want to be comfortable, you're going to be brought out of your bed 3 times a day for a count, and on that, which I'm guessing is going to be ad seg for him for the rest of his life. Somebody might just roll in there at 3 a.m. and just be like, shift change, everybody up, and then get him out. So it's not going to be great. It doesn't make up for what happened, but
think about it. So you and I have spent our first 35 years in
utter poverty.
I mean, certainly not any degree of riches, right?
Yes, yeah.
So I mean, we're if I would have said hey, you could have been Leonardo DiCaprio for the first 80 years of your life, but the last 15 you're gonna spend penniless and poor and awful. I
might take that.
I feel like most people would. I think that there's a lot of people who people win the lottery and live way beyond their means for 2 years and then they're poor again.
Then poor. Yeah.
I think they would say it was I didn't spend that money properly, but I also don't imagine that they're saying to themselves I really regret all that time that I went on vacation and ate dinner. ate at fancy dinners,
Yeah,
I bought a Lamborghini or something.
There are times in my life I have said, in fact, on this podcast, I have probably said, Joe wouldn't be that horrible. I don't have to worry about rent, so there's no work, and I get to read and write a lot. I feel like that's almost like a vacation. And if I could get medium security or light security, obviously, the country
where
club
you can
would be
maybe
fantastic.
sit outside in a yard somewhere
and just read a book. It's a 14-year-old version of this book in paperback, and it's missing some pages. I don't really care. Did I have to get him to go to work today? No. All right. It's fine.
You're reading Gatsby without the first page gone, and at the end, you're just I just wish I knew more about him in his younger and more vulnerable years.
Exactly. I was going to say
the whole book had me, except for
I wouldn't miss the first page because I know exactly what that says because I've heard it enough. But yeah, would it be that bad? And I don't think that is comparison to how Harvey lived the first years of his life.
Right.
He would never have said, "I'll trade this for prison at some point." That's fine.
And so the second thing, and this is not a problem with this case in particular, but should be noted that if the scales of criminal justice weigh too much in one side over the other, then they no longer become scales.
Right.
And it's important to say, much like the old phrase about right to free speech. I don't agree with what you say, but I'll defend the right to death for you to do it.
Right. Yeah.
Harvey was put in the ideal situation to be found guilty in this case.
Yeah.
Because people have been talking about him and all the things that he's been doing in various media publications and on TV and on the internet nonstop for the last 2 years, it seems. It's been pretty consistent. I don't know how you necessarily find a jury who knows nothing about who Harvey Weinstein is or what they do, and that's fine. But I'm saying collectively, I think we all listen to true crime podcasts and stuff, or see Serial or whatever the case is, and we say to ourselves how did they not see through this, or how did how did everyone get on the one side of making sure he was guilty and finding all the things that were guilty. And I'm not saying that's the case with Harvey, obviously, but I'm saying that at some point there's going to be a loaded case against somebody, much the same way as everyone was saying Harvey's guilty, where it's going to be a lot closer to the line.
Yeah.
And people's ability to push themselves in the direction of wanting to hang him before the case even happens is going to have a negative effect on people who are closer to the line in the future.
Yeah.
So as a culture, I would like to say, let's please try and remember that even though somebody might be obviously guilty of something,
might seem obviously guilty
of something, that it's important that we respect the process of innocent until proven guilty, even if you don't have to invite him over to dinner or something like that.
Yeah.
You don't have to work with Harvey Weinstein. I'm just saying it's just a very small thing that if we lose that, then it's lost forever. And when we're dealing with tougher cases where people don't know all the details, it's going to become a lot more difficult for us to remember that people are supposed to be treated innocent.
And I think that this was a jury that was chosen not because they hadn't heard anything, but the follow-up to that is, can you put aside what you've heard and base only on the evidence that you hear before us? And if they had come back in 4 hours and it takes an hour and a half to fill out the paperwork, then I'd be with you. I just think that the fact that they deliberated so long.
I think from everything I'm hearing, I think the jury did a fantastic job and took everything very seriously, and I'm appreciative of them for that because it's not easy to be on a jury like this because you're gone for a long time for one. But we're in a really interesting place with criminal justice, and I think that just in the case of Harvey's defense, you can see it alone in just the way he played everything to set up for an appeal, or played everything to set up for getting every single little thing out of the legal system he possibly could.
Yeah.
He shows up every day in the walker so that when he is complaining about not being able to breathe properly today after he's found guilty, he can go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Like this is not like it's not some grand scheme. It's all part of like a calculated plan.
Yeah.
To give him the most leniency and freedom he can get.
Yeah, and I think if you're his lawyer, that's the best advice you can give him. It's like, we're getting you the walker because the best cells are on the first floor. And with a walker, they're not going to be able to get you up to the second floor. So we'll put you on the first floor.
Or if you have a doctor's note that's saying you're going through something like horrible, then we can, send you to the prison hospital and you don't actually live in the prison. You're like in a bed and, it might be a better way to pass the remaining years and blah, blah, blah.
Like Rikers sucks. The hospital that they send Rikers to has got to be better than Rikers. So if you're in there the whole time, sure. But yeah, so at least that one chapter is closed. I agree with you that I think the whether or not LA goes after additional charges is completely dependent on whether there's a chance that Harvey gets out of jail at some point.
I mean, I feel like if the sentencing was Brock Turner, the Stanford race,
3 months,
where it's just like, well, he needs to get back to swim practice, so 3 months. If the guilty, the actual sentence for Harvey is well, I think 4 months and no sex registry is good. Then I imagine California is the next day, oh yeah, we'd like to.
I have a feeling that there will be detectives in the courtroom, and they will say, yay or nay, should we pick him up?
Yeah.
Let him go or let him.
Should we bring him to California right now?
Yeah.
Should we?
But so we'll keep posted on that. And the best way for you to keep posted on that, of course, is to follow us on social media because we talk about this stuff all the time. So where can they find us, Cory?
They can find us at otheanthem.com, facebook.com/O The Anthem, O The Anthem on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, if you're watching us live right now, you're probably watching on one of those places, probably Facebook or YouTube. But we are on Periscope on Twitter, and of course on Twitch at the O The Anthem channel. So make sure you join us there every single week as we do a new episode, and go ahead and follow the social media accounts so you can get all the updates during the week.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So speaking about getting updates during the week, we've got a lot of updates. We've been watching the Democratic Town Hall, which is not really a debate, but a debate of sorts for the last few
An opportunity
hours.
For the candidates to get out there and answer questions without people trying to kneecap them.
Yes, yeah.
Though Bloomberg, Bloomberg won't be here for this one. I think he's given up the town hall to spend more time with debate prep.
Oh, I was gonna say they have him scheduled for tomorrow at 7.
I'm pretty sure that's off. I thought I heard something about that. So
why would
I don't
he
know
need
for
more
sure.
debate?
Well,
time?
To be fair, he showed up in the debate last week for the first time and looked like shit. So it was a beautiful thing to see. To be honest, it was amazing. And Elizabeth Warren in particular, I know she's getting a lot of praise for her debate performance, where she viciously beat Mike Bloomberg with his own arms until he died.
And fantastically put to the beat of Ether by Nas. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure you go check that out.
The best part was the number, Bloomberg, for those who don't know, was mayor of New York City, but never really ran against anyone.
No.
Substantial, right? I can't remember a single race that he he's a Republican for half of them.
It's the war chest. That's a problem. It's you're well, I can run against him. He's got $17 billion just for this race.
Well, he's also a Bloomberg. Okay. At a certain point, New York is one of those places where I feel like Trump, even though he never had like serious, like people never thought of him as like a genius, like like his name still carried weight though. You know, like, oh, Trump's here tonight, like that would mean something. You know, much the same as like, you know, if somebody was just like, LaGuardia wants to run for mayor, it's like, well, yeah, he's probably gonna win. Like, I don't even know. He could lick paint. I don't know. It's LaGuardia. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be mayor.
Wait, you mean like the airport? Yeah, I'll vote for him. I'll vote for him. It sounds good to me. But
the guy who gave us the airport.
But the Warren gave him a beatdown, but he really just took punches. And I wanted to say, like, I regret in hindsight my caustic nature during the 2016 election.
Yeah.
Because basically I was saying the things that I thought, yeah, you know what, it's not going to happen, so I might as well say it. And then it happened. And then you elected him. All of you out there elected him president of the United States. So sorry about that, everybody. I'm going to take the blame. I'll take the L for that one. But you had an interesting theory about Bloomberg in this particular race.
Well, yeah. So I really do think that he's not trying to win. I think he's just trying to be like a good mini boss on the way to Trump. Like, he doesn't show up for all the early things. He shows up about halfway through, and now he's the billionaire with discrimination in his background and awful remarks and racist tendencies. And he's just up there to be your mini Trump punching bag. And we can find out which Democrats are capable of like handling a Trump-like
And I think that Elizabeth Warren took that to heart because she was basically showing she could take on Trump.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I think you got to I did find it helpful because you get to see like Biden throw his like little jokes in there.
Yeah.
Like trying to razz Mike with his like, well, I'm I was always the poorest congressman and senator, and I wasn't able to always pick up the dinner bill like Mike over here, to light laughter.
Yeah. And then Warren's like, all right, let's talk about this guy right here.
Let's talk about these non-disclosure agreements you got going. The word that was, to me, that was my favorite part. It was just that like, if you're not on the level to debate somebody who really knows what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
And there's some people on that stage who really know how to debate.
Yep.
And Warren is one of them. And if you just set yourself up for, like, have you ever seen a cross go really bad in court?
Yes, absolutely.
Like, where it's just like, the lawyer just says things and it just like sets up for like, so you've never done drugs before, right?
No.
It's like, no, never done.
Yeah.
Well, what about this picture you had on Facebook of you smoking a joint last week?
I mean, listen, you can't tell that it's a joint. I mean a joint like a rolled cigarette. Then
well, the caption said, "I'm getting so high on this marijuana joint."
I
mean,
do a lot. I do it for the gram because bitches love the gram. All right, that's what I'm saying.
It's just like Elizabeth Warren just like took just slowly set up little traps for Bloomberg to step into, and like as soon as she got into the how many NDAs do you have and stuff like that, he was just done. Like there's no good way of being Bloomberg in this situation and being like, because like I feel like what he would want to say in that situation is, hey, I paid her more money because she agreed to keep her mouth shut. So
don't say the quiet part out loud.
If we want to have a conversation about her being able to talk, we're welcome to have that conversation.
Yeah.
She's just got to give me back some money.
Yeah.
I mean,
she's free to talk.
If it was she could talk to whoever she wants, I would have given her no money. But because she wants to not talk, she wants to talk and I want her not to, then yes, here's $1 million that I gave her to not say the embarrassing thing I did.
Yeah.
Like, it's a no-win situation for Bloomberg. And
I never thought I would have one Democratic candidate give examples of things and then turn to another Democratic candidate and be like, oh, that wasn't the president. Yeah. That was you. And then go dive into the details of all like that just by itself. You're like, ooh.
You know what the other thing too is though is it's a good actor bad actor quality too.
Yeah.
Where like sometimes when you see an actor who doesn't have seasoning, they might not. I think you could get better. But I mean, like if you see that actor who's just like, hold on a second, I need to go to the bathroom. And it's like everything is stilted and weird and not right.
Yeah.
Like there's a way that she was not only delivering like really killer points, but also doing it in such a way like when she was just like, call them horse-toothed lesbians. Like there's like a rhythm to the way she was assassinating him too, which was really enjoyable.
And listen, if the presidential thing doesn't work out, I think maybe she should go to Scribble Jam. I mean, she's going to be in New York, go to Bloomberg's own territory, win Scribble Jam, and then maybe Dr. Dre will give her a record deal. I don't know. I can't say. But I thought one of the interesting things that came out after the debate was a comment that Bloomberg made in 2016 to a closed-door, donors-only, I don't think it was a Republican thing. I think he was a Democrat at that point. But like a Clinton Republican thing where he said that Warren was scary. And he said, listen, if I ever run for president, the banks have nothing to worry about. I'm going to look out for them. And then basically this came out this week and they were like, care to comment? And he was just like, nope. Nah, well, really don't want to.
I will say this. Another line I particularly enjoyed came from Pete.
Oh, hey, Pete.
And a really well thought out and well planned line. I sometimes I know when I'm hearing a staged line, but
they practice.
Sometimes it's good, and I give up because it's good. He had the as the person leading in the polls who's actually a Democrat, which I thought was good.
Ooh.
Taking a nice little swipe at Bernie and Bloomberg there, but it's amazing. Like. He spends all this money. He gets all this name ID. Like, he gets support. Like, there was upwards of like 20% of people who saying they were thinking about voting for Mike Bloomberg going into the debate. And now the latest polls are showing him just cratering after getting rocked once.
I mean, it's Kennedy Nixon. It's like, you seem like you're doing everything you're supposed to do. You got the meme guys on your side. You got the internet basically is all talking about you. And you've bought ads in every market. You've gone from a guy who's known in New York and by politicos like us to 20% of people saying they might vote for you. And then you just dead fish it on stage at the debate and just throw all of that away. Well, not all of it away, because there is still a substantial number of people who said they would vote for him. But that didn't happen in Nevada. That was the thing. It didn't happen in Nevada.
His complete... I mean, he wasn't on the ballot, really, in Nevada, I don't think.
Well, it's caucus, so...
I mean, like, I don't think he was really on the caucus, like, as a serious candidate.
Oh, no, you can vote for anybody. I mean, there could be people
I think
who
he
are
was
like,
showing up in the debate because it was an opportunity for him to get in the debate. Like, he hadn't qualified specifically up until that point.
But he is in South Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, like, but at some point, someone's got to drop out because, like, there's no way. I'm not saying that Bernie shouldn't win the Democratic nomination or anything like that. I'm probably going to vote for Bernie, but like, I don't get like why all these moderate Democrats are all getting in each other's way if their thought is Bernie's going to tear this party apart. Like, Bernie's going to burn it all down.
Yeah, somebody's got to be the one. Let's just find him and let him go.
I feel like they're all arguing over, like, at this point, I don't see any path for Amy Klobuchar or Tom Steyer or probably Elizabeth Warren either. I mean, there's a...
Well, if I'm Elizabeth, though, I say
there's an outside chance, I think, that if Biden really romps South Carolina... And I mean, like, you know, like he'd have to have like a crazy night to make me say this, but like, you know, if he won 60% of the South Carolina vote with everyone else, kind of thing, then maybe you start saying like, oh well, you know, like maybe we paid too much attention to 4 states with no population, and we should have like waited a little bit. Well, I mean, like, at Super Tuesday, there's a lot of southern states there, too, that he could clean up on. And at the end of Super Tuesday, you might see something like Bernie wins California and Texas, but you might also see that Biden has won 4 other states because you got, like, Arkansas and, you know, Missouri and a couple others.
But again, that's if Pete doesn't continue his, like, red state tear that he's been on. You know, he didn't win Nevada, but he finished in the top 3. And, South Carolina, he's likely to now finish. He's projected to finish in the top 3.
See, the problem with Pete and Amy, to a similar regard, is that they just have no black support whatsoever. And watching Pete during his town hall tonight, like the problem is that there's a version of Pete Buttigieg I really like, where he's the guy in the pole position. He's the guy up front. Because there's a confidence there that, like, it makes you feel good when you're watching him.
So
But
much
if
confidence,
he's-
he convinces you he wins a state before they vote are even
But
in.
if he's
like, "Yeah, he
losing,
won."
if he's losing, that confidence doesn't look like
No.
it's assuredness. It looks like he's desperately trying to get you to believe the thing. Like, you know, like
Do your Jeb Bush. Do your Jeb Bush.
please clap. there's a part of Pete tonight where like people were talking, like, especially if it was like any black voter was like going like, I don't know where I stand on this, and he's like sitting there like, yeah, I'm listening. Hear me? You see me nodding? Like I'm really with you. I'm trying to connect. You feel the connection? And like there was another one that there was something he said there was a black woman who asked a question, and he
During
like
town hall?
during the
Yeah.
town hall, and he started like bringing up facts that are like more relevant to African American people than to white people. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't like, he's like, I don't know what it's like to be a black woman. I don't know what it's like to be at a hospital and there be a 60% chance that my pain isn't identified correctly as the same to a white woman because I don't know what the difference is. I don't know what it's like to be that. It's just like, it seems like you just got like a stat sheet of black
Yeah.
people. It's just like, if you feel like you're in trouble, just pull something off the...
I don't know what it's like to have sickle cell anemia, but I can imagine what it might be like.
He's like, but my thing is being important for everybody, you know, being the same. Like, I don't know, like it, you know, that like non-racist person that you know that just it never happened to meet a black person, like some person you knew grew up in like the boons in the middle of nowhere.
That Dave Chappelle black racist character.
Exactly. Just like never happened to meet a black person, and then just all of a sudden you got to talk. It's just like, well, yeah, I've know a whole bunch of black people, and they like.
But he's the mayor
Basketball?
of South Bend. There's a lot of black
Oh, I
people
know,
in
I'm
South
just
Bend.
saying,
Like,
but I'm
come
saying
on, man.
there seems to be like this awkwardness about him where it's just like.
I will say though, from what I'm getting from Twitter, everyone in South Bend is just like, I don't know who this guy is. Like, he is so much more relatable to the black or to the minority community in general in South Bend. But then he goes on the stage and he's like listening to all of the advisors who are like, well, to win nationally, this is what you have to do. And he's not being himself.
There is definitely and I think that Pete is probably one of these people that if you met him one-on-one, he would drill down into your soul until you were going to vote for him for the rest of your life. Like, I could see that in him.
He's a Kennedy.
But when he gets on stage in front of a lot of people and he's got to do that to 1,000 different people at the same time, it doesn't work. Like, it fries him, you know?
And you were doing a little head bob. Now, if you're talking to me and you're doing that, it's probably very engaging.
Right.
But as us watching him do it to someone else, we're like, that is weird. I don't see that. I don't stop that.
Right.
So, I mean, I think there is a level of that. But in the end, I think he's the most electable centrist that is left. Biden won't give up because he doesn't give up until the bitter end. But I think one of the other things I'm worried about is Warren, Buttigieg, and to a lesser extent, Amy Klobuchar, have all made pleas this week for more money. They're like, I don't know if we need your help to push through Super Tuesday. And that is, you were saying earlier, justice system, we need to be careful. We need to be careful with the electoral system, where 3 really good but very different candidates are all struggling to make it to the first major day of voting. And Bernie has in the past, I mean, it's memed out now, but I'm asking for your support. You know, he did that already. And that's because Bloomberg comes in with a blank check and just says, I'm going to outspend everybody. And because money is speech, it's okay.
See, but I feel like there's a lot of, when we look back on this election in the history books, despite who ends up being the candidates and stuff like that, I think we're going to look at it as the beginning of the end of the TV mailer newspaper empire. Because there's like, I feel like in every single campaign right now, there is the guy who is the old savvy veteran. And he's run 15 presidential campaigns.
Yeah.
He worked on Mondale's way back in the day. And
he lost, buddy. He lost.
Well, I know, but I'm saying, he always always talks about that time he met Mondale, you know, like, but like he's just like, you gotta get a mailer in everybody's mailbox so they know who you are, and you gotta be on the nightly news, and you gotta have a Super Bowl commercial, and these are all money that's being spent.
Yeah,
and nobody, and somewhere in the office too is the guy who is the social media guy. And he's sort of saying like, hey, if we took this one thing and spent 1/5 the amount we would on a television commercial, we could reach 1 million people on YouTube. And then they're just like, oh, I don't know, the TV commercials.
That's where it's
we got to win California. We got to get a lot of TV commercials. It's just like, I feel like this might be the year where that starts to separate. But I feel like right now we're still in this place where, the Warren campaign is worried about making more money because they need to make yard signs for California.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, Pete's on it, all right? What has he proven? Twitter can be a really powerful tool. Donald Trump showed us that last time. And all you got to do is invest in the app that's going to count the votes. And then you're totally fine. You don't have to worry about
honestly, for as epic fail this campaign has been so far for him, I think Bloomberg has really illustrated how much name recognition you can get just being like the digital media candidate. Because I feel like he definitely has TV commercials that are out there because they're out there a lot. But I feel like I hear more people talking about him in relates to a YouTube ad or something on Facebook or whatever the case,
They did a huge YouTube buy. And I have to watch YouTube a lot of the day. And the number of Bloomberg ads that get served to me just means they are paying for that so that no matter what my interests are, it doesn't matter. I get served a Bloomberg ad.
Right.
And the whole meme culture thing works out both ways. If he'd never gotten caught doing it, it would have been in the culture that Bloomberg was this meme guy.
Yeah.
He got caught doing it and then became a meme of himself.
Yeah.
Basically, they're making fun of the fact that he did this, but they're still posting the damn memes in a minute. It works out either way. And that's just good. He spent $5,000 per person. And they're going to be doing stuff like once a week or twice a week for the entire campaign. That is a really great investment. That is one section of airtime for a week.
Not only that, but think about I feel influencer marketing is interesting because nobody really knows what the price is. So there's a chance there's a chance you can find somebody who has a huge following and never gets approached by anything, and they work out for your specific brand. And just because they'd be like, how much would you want to make a post about how much you love Hershey? It's just well, nobody's ever at $500. I don't know. What's the price?
I will say we do that all the time. It's just hey, you hit 1 million. You hit 1 million followers on Instagram. But what everybody doesn't know is that 19 million account is also you. But we know that, and you don't do any advertising on the other account. But we figured out that you're the same guy. And it's hey, I don't want your big account. I just want your million. Just what's it going to cost for $1 million? Now, because you've always said no to everything, you don't know what actually it costs to do that.
Yeah.
So you're just well, as long as it's not on my face account, it's my Finsta, I'll do that. I don't know, $1,000. Sold. Yep. Here, can we PayPal you? You got PayPal? Cash App? We got it. Yeah, we'll send it to you.
There is not a chance that any television commercial that Mike Bloomberg ran in California costs less than $5,000.
Absolutely not.
And if you think about it in terms of the worst performing commercial that he definitely spent more than $5,000 on, even it was at 2 o'clock in the morning after, whatever the thing that follows Fallon is,
infomercials.
Just a Bloomberg ad shows up in the middle.
In the middle of the infomercial.
You're definitely spending more than $5,000 on that.
Yeah.
And you're 100% getting less people to see it than a meme that was on Fuck Jerry.
Yep.
And
by the way, you didn't pay Fuck Jerry. You paid another guy who posted it, and then Fuck Jerry took it without attribution and reposted it. So you didn't have to pay the guys.
At some point, your free meme showing on the Fat Jew too. So you win 3 times there.
And then it goes to Tumblr, and it has a whole life.
And then it has a second life where other people are just taking out one word and making it apply to their industry or something.
Yes.
I love the movie set memes is one of my favorite places on Facebook. One of the last bastions of Facebook I enjoy. And it's so often, it's just the Bernie meme, but it's just I am once again asking for your support in making my film or something, just changing the one thing to make it appropriate to the people who like it. So,
but if you're listening to the sound of my voice now, remember that if your state is on Super Tuesday, which Maryland and California both are, right? Yes. No, Maryland's later.
Yeah,
no.
Maryland's later.
So if you're in California, you can start voting when you hear this. The polls are already open for early voting, and Maryland will be open 2 weeks before.
And you can mail in California.
Yeah, up until the day of. But starting now, you can start mailing it in. So are you going to go vote early, or are you going to wait to see how it develops till
I'm going to
Tuesday?
wait, yeah.
All the way to March 5th. And then I'm going to
Or March 2nd or whatever it is.
I think it's 5th.
I mean, like, here's the problem: is that like I really don't know where I'm gonna vote.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I know where I'm gonna vote. Like it's right up at Bunker Hill.
I mean,
but like I don't know where my vote is going. There's a lot of races down ballot that I want to spend more time looking into.
And vote down ballot. Don't just vote for the president. Jesus.
And as far as the president goes, I mean, like really my three favorites at this moment are Bernie, Buttigieg, and Warren in no particular order. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I could find myself voting for any one of the three of them come election day, but I want to keep it open until election day because, who knows? Like,
and then I give Cory a call at 7 p.m. on election day.
I mean, maybe the day before election day, we see a video of Pete violently stabbing somebody in an alley. And I'm just like, oh,
I'm glad I didn't vote.
Why did I early vote for Pete Buttigieg? Feel like a monster now.
Until I give you a call.
It's not until I see the video and then I vote for him anyway.
Yes, I want to know that when I vote. But no, and until I call you at 7 p.m. on election day and I get that, hello? Like, are you sleeping? Yeah. Did you vote earlier? Oh, shit.
I'm going to put on my pants.
Cory running up First Street towards Bunker Hill to cast his vote. But yeah, so make sure you vote. I'm not going to, but do what I say, not as I do. I won't participate in this sham of.
But real quick, before we get out of here,
yes,
more along the lines of the Bloomberg is like a shadow campaign set up as like a mini boss for Trump kind of thing. Mm-hmm. If there was ever a indication that this was the case, it was that in a national political director position in his organization, Mike Bloomberg has hired former Baltimore Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake.
And as you may have seen our posts on Instagram, as I said earlier, O The Anthem on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all over the place. You missed out on us posting the anniversary of Do Your Job or Quit.
Do Your Job or Quit. And
it just so happens that he hired her on the same day.
She got a job on Do Your Job or Quit day.
And the likelihood she'll still be working with that campaign because it won't be happening. By next anniversary is about 0. So
I just like to imagine that Bloomberg's like interviewing people and he's just like, so Stephanie Rawlings Blake, how was the relationship with the police department at the end of your administration?
Fantastic.
Good. Yeah. Good for me too. Everything was coming up great for New York and Baltimore at that time.
Oh man. Yeah, it's just like
hi, Ed kid.
We're putting
I like your moxie.
We're putting a special emphasis on social media. How do you feel about social media? Ooh, catch me on my Twitter feed.
Ooh.
Yeah. But I feel like because of the Council of Mayors, is that the National Council of Mayors?
She was the president of the Council of Mayors.
Yeah. Does that get you enough clout?
I don't know what that does. What is that? Is that like Student UN or something like that? Like,
well, no, it is a thing, and I wonder if his idea is. But I feel like Pete is coming from the small town and is doing so well.
I feel like the Council of Mayors is like we get together to decide, like what, like to have a conference basically. Like,
well, it's like not CPAC. CPAC. What am I thinking about? APEC. Damn it! I really should know.
OPEC.
No, it's it's the ones who write all the bills. The American American Council on something and something. The Republicans go to it. They write the bills and
CPAC?
Is it CPAC?
Yeah.
Okay, CPAC. It's like CPAC, where like except for on a local level, it's like, hey, these are the things we've gotten accomplished and how we've done it. Don't forget, there's this national or the federal grant program that you could take advantage of.
I was pretty sure that we were not going to hear from SRB. For the long term.
I was hoping we wouldn't hear from her ever again.
I mean, like, I imagine she might have come up at some point, like, hey, you remember when the city went downhill overnight? You remember who the mayor was at that point in time?
Remember when a person actually said, give them room to destroy?
Yeah.
You remember when that happened? Yeah.
Real quick.
Fun memories.
Real quick, just because you seem to think that we didn't do this. I don't know if we did or not, so...
Well, I know we talked about the thing.
We might as well throw it out there just in case somebody is listening at this point and hasn't heard the story.
Well, and wait, though. To be fair, let's just make sure that we get this the proper transition because we are going down to the Baltimore corner.
Where you get the straight dope.
Right.
So there was a story recently Probably about like a month ago, I want to say.
Well, it was about a mayor of Baltimore who had to resign in disgrace. So, of course, we're talking about Sheila Dixon.
No, later.
SRB?
No, she didn't have to resign in disgrace.
Oh, that's right. She finished.
She should have, but...
Dang.
The recent
Martin
one.
O'Malley?
No, the recent one.
Oh. Pew. Catherine
That's
Pugh.
the one.
That's right, yeah. By the way, that's the last 4 mayors of Baltimore that I have just mentioned there.
You want to have more fun? Name all the police commissioners since 1990.
Oh, Jesus. We don't have time, man. We're going to be running
We're
along.
already over long. So the story came out that during the raid of Catherine Pugh's house, the FBI was specifically looking for devices and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how a raid goes. We want
Give me your phone.
all your files, your phone, your computer, all these sort of stuff, so we can look for evidence.
And she turned over her phone.
Yeah,
And they looked at it and
but
said,
not the
"This
one
is
they
not
were
your-"
looking for.
Yeah,
they
this is
said
not
we were
the one."
looking for a Samsung phone. She said, "Oh, that's with my assistant in Philadelphia." At which point, the FBI,
As if it was written by some screenwriter somewhere.
yeah. Then the FBI agent took out his phone, dialed the number, and then they all heard a pillow vibrating on the bed. At which point, Pugh apparently dove on the bed. I think she still had pneumonia at this point.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
she dove on the bed and was, reaching for it as they were, restraining her and, no, I gotta get this. It could be a tweet.
Again, imagine that you wrote that.
Yeah.
The first note somebody would have is, that's absolutely not believable that would actually happen.
I am 100% writing this in a movie. I don't give it.
It's like, no one would ever believe that.
I don't even care if it fits. I'm just gonna do it.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's the kind of thing where if you write it in a movie and somebody gives you the note, like, oh yeah, no, that would never actually happen. Be like, let me
but
send
it
you a
did.
link. Yes, there you go. Turns out this is from real life.
Let me airdrop you something real quick.
Here's a story about her. And again, she is a woman in her late 40s, mid 40s, late 40s, somewhere around there.
Later.
Really? You think?
Yeah.
mean,
I think she's in her. I think she's 60 now.
Really? Oh, man, she looks good for 60. But just diving into a big fluffy bed to grab the phone.
I mean, especially with the pneumonia.
Oh, yes. Yeah, and sick.
69 years old for
you
Catherine
kidding
Pugh.
me?
See, and again, she's going to spend time in jail, but she's had all this time coming up where she's been living her life, living large on healthy Holly books and shit like that. Not up until the last, is it fair to say that 85 is a good call it year for most people to die?
Not if you're in jail. But yeah, I mean, theoretically, out.
Yeah, I mean,
in the world.
normally 30 or 85 would be a good, if I said Cory died at 85, you wouldn't be like,
I'd be surprised.
It was too early.
I would be surprised. And I mean, for the city of Baltimore, where the average age is, it's like 30.
Mid-20s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Catherine Pugh, she will be missed.
She will be missed. She's going to be in jail, not dead.
Yeah, I mean, we won't see or hear from her for a while. So.
Yes. But somebody should correct us if we're wrong. I am 100% sure we talked about the raid, but that this detail came out after, even though Cory's convinced that we didn't. But
I think we talked about both, but we'll see.
We'll
see who reigns supreme in this one.
I would have noted the 70-year-old woman diving into her bed and grabbing the phone that was vibrating as if she was. I think I've told this story on the podcast before, but I told it this week where it's like, how bad has it ever been with you in a relationship? And I was like, okay, so I was in the bathroom. I turned out the light and opened the door, and I saw a flash of light cross the room. I heard a thud, and it's heard something slide down the wall. And I said, what was that? What were you doing? Nothing. But then I turn the light on, and I go over, and just in that exact spot happens to be my phone on the floor with a broken screen. And I have to say to myself, is there a chance? Is there a chance she was looking through my phone? That's what I think about with this Catherine Pugh story. It's just like, no, it's in Philadelphia. And you see the guy flipping open his phone to call, because clearly the FBI agent's got a flip phone. And you don't think to yourself,
well, it was late 2000, so.
I mean, FBI guy.
It was 2015.
He probably had a flip phone on a holster. That's what I'm imagining. But you don't think to yourself, you know what? I'm just going to crawl in bed real quick. I'm going to put my hand on top of that phone and flip it over so it's not vibrating the bed. But no, she just waits till it rings and then dives into it. I don't know why that cracks me up so much.
Too good.
Yes, yeah.
You know what else is too good?
Oh, what's that?
OTheAnthem.com. Cory to OTheAnthem.com. O The Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the listener line, 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595. And real quick, just before we move on to my little part here, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that there is a promo going on right now for 15% off all T-shirts at the O The Anthem store.
Ooh, yeah.
Limit of up to 5 T-shirts on that one, by the way, too, just in case you were feeling like you need a new wardrobe going on.
Are there 5 different designs? Because I know you go in and you do them by hand.
There absolutely is more than 5 designs, so you could get the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah.
15% off. T-shirt 15 is the code. So take advantage of that.
T-shirt 15 at the Spreadshirt store at OTheAnthem.com. So
Yep.
make sure you don't miss out on that.
You can find more of me at my website, CoryBakerFilmmaker.com, Facebook.com/CoryBakerFilm, and at LegendsCB5 on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. And I want to see a new movie this week. I don't know what it is. I don't know when it will be, but I want to see one, and I want to do a review, at which point I will release it, and you will enjoy it. All of that is hypothetical and hopeful.
What do you got right now?
Like, what's the last one out?
Yes.
Was Ford versus Ferrari. And I don't know, what do you think about Sonic? Do you want to go see Sonic?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say my suggestion was going to be Sonic. Not that I am necessarily rushing out to see it, but I think I said this before.
I didn't want to see it right away.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see it.
But I want to reward them for listening to the fans.
Yeah.
And bringing back a Sonic that I actually am willing to go see.
I
So,
feel like it did well enough that they'll have to do another one.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether or not I go at this point. So I might as well see it.
Yep.
And, the A-list makes it easy. By the way, finally got the news that Alamo's one is nationwide.
Yes.
$30 a month.
So, yeah, my thought was instantly like, do I want to have both? Because the problem with Alamo is, unlike AMC, I'm going to spend $80 on top of the ticket.
Yeah.
So the ticket's free, but do I want to make that my every time theater?
I would
just
like.
because of that?
I think I would be more inclined to do Alamo if it was less, because I'm going to spend more when I'm there.
That's I think that's absolutely true. Like,
Yeah.
if it was less than AMC, but like if I put my average ticket plus food at AMC versus ticket plus food at Alamo,
See, because the problem is that like they have food at AMC, but I almost never want it.
Yeah.
But like when I'm sitting in the chair and I got the menu in front of me, and I'm just like, well, I mean, like I guess I could have some nachos.
Yeah.
Like
and the next thing you know, I've had
they have nachos at AMC. I just never ordered them.
next thing you know, I'm sitting there and I've had 5 drinks, and I'm like, you know what? An alcoholic milkshake sounds exactly like what I want right now.
Do you have cookies and cream right now?
And then I got the bill for $140, and I'm like, what? I'm like looking at the light, like, what's on here? I don't even. Oh, yep. I ate all
that
of
alcoholic milkshake was $28.
Yep, I ate all of that. Yep.
That's why that's the way it is.
Also, side note, you can get this beautiful T-shirt Cory's wearing at the Spreadshirt store.
Yeah.
You can also get a T-shirt like mine, which is just plain black.
We
at
should
the
just
Spreadshirt
sell
store.
plain black shirts. Do like Kanye, sell them for $75. Just
That's it. That's.
I will say this, by the way. This shirt I've personally owned for quite a while. I wanted to buy it because I wanted to see that the shirts that we sell on the website are of a discerning quality.
Yeah.
I didn't want to like tell people to buy some cheap piece of shit. And this shirt has how many years do you think?
3 probably.
3?
Yeah, it was before
And I mean, like,
before we left.
It's definitely fading.
Yeah.
But I think it's fading nicely, like an old shirt should.
And you wear it
it's
like
comfortable, and it's like
once a week. So this is once a week wear, regular washing, not like anything special.
right.
And I mean, it's the same thing with my Baltimore Corner T-shirt.
Yeah.
That I wear. That's my laundry day T-shirt. Because you'll never catch me in a T-shirt that has anything on it, unless it's laundry day. Then I got to wear something with on it because I'm washing all the other ones. But yeah, so you can get that T-shirt 15. Is T-shirt 15?
T-shirt 15.
Make sure you go to OTheAnthem.com and check that out. Of course, you can find more of me at Robert N. Cheek on all your social networks. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com, where you can find links to everything that I'm doing, including the books that are available on Amazon.
Barrow's Books.
Thank you. Yeah. And I just put out Harriet, I believe.
Yeah.
Harriet was yesterday. I have a bonus episode coming, first for the patrons and then for everyone else. So if you want to see that bonus episode first before everyone else, Patreon, patreon.com/Robert N. Cheek. But then I have coming out on Thursday. Damn, what else did I do? Oh, Marriage Story. Yeah. So I wanted to wrap all of the Oscar reviews, and that will be my last one. Harriet's not really Best Picture, but it was the other thing that was nominated in the top 5
It was
categories.
top actress.
Actress, yeah. Not nominated for anything
Cynthia
else.
Erivo.
And I was like looking to see. I think that there is actually one more that I haven't seen that was one of the actors or supporting actors.
Did you see Judy?
I didn't see. That's what it is. I didn't
Okay.
see Judy. And I saw part of it, but not enough. Not the full movie, so I'm not going to do a review about it till I
Gotcha.
get the full movie. But otherwise, then we'll be wrapped, and then it's on to the exciting 2020, which has a really good slate.
All the things with Dumpuary.
Yeah.
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 Because right now is the time of year where they're dumping a lot of the movies that weren't good enough for other times of the year for whatever reason.
They got put. This is where Dark Phoenix landed
Yeah,
after
yeah.
its fourth push from
Right.
Memorial Day into February, when they're like, "This is a piece of shit. We got to get this somewhere."
And then every once in a while they release something in February because it's just like literally everything this movie is going to compete against is bullshit. So let's just put Black Panther here.
I was gonna say it's been 2 years since we had a private screening of Black Panther, and 2 years before that or 3 years before that was Deadpool in February, where they're like, you can't sell tickets to a rated R comic book movie,
Yeah.
and then it killed for like 3
Surprise!
consecutive weekends. Yeah, so. But anyway, yeah. So make sure you check that out. YouTube.com/RobCheek.
Well, I think we've done good here today.
We've done something. I don't know if it's good, but as always, you are listening to the O The Anthem podcast, part of the O The Anthem digital network. For Cory, this is Rob. Have a great week, everybody. And hey, if you're in the comments on YouTube, let us know what you think about the new lights.
Yeah.
New lights by Newer. So yeah,
Are we looking fancy?
yeah, I think it looks better. It's looking good, even at the end here. So have a good week, everybody.
Bye.